Emily, welcome into the program.
Thank you.
It's always fun to kind of catch up with you guys, and normally we don't talk a lot about any individual game. When I record these player profiles, I try to make them, to use a broadcast term, evergreen, where you could listen to it a day after we recorded it, or you could listen to it 2 months from now, and it's not going to seem like, oh, that's old news, you know. So you don't usually talk a lot about the last game that happened. That's for Coach Green. When Coach Green and I talk, that's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. But in this case, I am going to talk a little bit about the last game because with this opportunity to speak to you, it was a big game for you. You had a career high 14 points.
Yes, sir.
In the game against Sam Houston State. So, what were your emotions after that when somebody said, oh, you know, you just scored or did you know when it happened that you had scored your career high?
Yeah, I did, because everybody kept saying it, like, on the bench and stuff. And, like, during time, I'd say, like, way to go, Emily, like, good job and stuff. So they were just encouraging me throughout it.
You guys seem to have a really good group as far as that's concerned. And I'll just use a couple of examples. Mm-hmm. Emma Hess also had a career high. And I actually feel bad because post-game on the radio, you scored 14 points. It's a career high for you. 99% of the time, you would have been the player of the game. You would have been on the post-game radio show. But this is the one time where Emily scores 30.
Oh, yeah. Emma was
I'm sorry. You're Emily. Yeah. Emma scored 30. Mm-hmm. And so she got to be on the post game. And I kind of felt bad. I was like, well, if we had two microphones, I'd have both of them come out.
Don't feel bad. She deserved it because she played amazing. Yeah.
Well, and as we were talking to her after the game, Peen and Brooke come by.
I watched it, yeah. They started dancing.
And so they were supporting her, saying, 30, you know.
Yes.
And so you just kind of see that you guys really do enjoy each other having success. We saw that a week previous when Casey Hunt got the scholarship and in practice, and you guys went nuts whenever she found out. So it really is. Too. Yeah, it's a family, isn't it?
Yeah, we actually went to some of us girls went to cookout after to celebrate Emma and I, just to get some milkshakes and stuff, and it was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. How
close is this group? How would you describe it?
I think we're really close. I think that this year we have a different culture, and everyone's just I don't know, we're on the same page. And just, we're like sisters, and it just really shows. We're all down to earth. Even though it's a new, fresh group, I feel like we're all known each other for years, so it's nice.
Does that make it a little frustrating when things don't match on the court, the results don't match the chemistry that you guys are building off the court?
Sometimes, but I think it's gonna come. It'll take time because it's we're all new playing with each other. But I feel like it's been coming in recent games. We've been connecting more, even in practice, and just trying to be there for each other, on and off the court. So.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to say that things have gone terribly, but there have been a couple of stretches where you lose a couple of games where you go, boy, one thing goes our way and we win this game, or you got one game where all 20-some turnovers. If not for the turnovers, we win. And then Florida International, turnovers wasn't the problem. It was giving up offensive rebounds was the problem in that game. And so you just feel so close to kind of pulling all this together. Have practices been, you've been around now long enough to kind of be able to compare seasons past. Have practices been as intense? Are things getting taken care of in practice?
Definitely, yeah. I feel like we work a lot on rebounding, and this past week we've been working on defense. So I feel like our defense has been a lot better these past few games because of that. We've been doing one-on-one and just against the guys and stuff. The practice players have been helping a lot too. So.
For those that don't know, and some fans may not realize this, when you say the guys, you guys are practicing with male practice players.
Yes.
How beneficial is that?
I think we have a really good group this year. They push us, and I feel like they're getting us better. So it's been great.
Is it mainly about the physicality? You're not gonna.
Yeah, they're bigger and just stronger than us, so it's fun to play too. Cause then when you get in the game, it's kind of easier, cause we've been working so hard against the guys.
And that's the thing. On this campus, you guys are the best female basketball players possible. And
Wow.
you know if you think about it, there might be one girl hanging out in the weeds somewhere playing intramurals and you find them, like
that's
Casey
true.
Hunt. She's on the team now. You find those girls, and they end up being walk-ons and play for the team. So you're not going to find any better female basketball players on Liberty's campus.
Wow.
So now to be able to practice against someone who can challenge you beyond playing against yourselves and beating up on each other, and especially now where the numbers are a little thin, you've barely got enough to have two teams out on the court.
Yeah.
And you don't want to murder each other in practice, so what do? You bring in male practice players that can emulate or maybe even be better than some of the opponents that you're going to play. So that I think for the fans that are going, why are they practicing against guys? That's it. To be able to find someone who's going to be able to challenge you, that's probably the only way to do it in this environment. I'd be curious to know if even WNBA teams do that.
Oh yeah, I do want to do that. They probably do. I feel like they do.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good kind of measuring stick of your success. So your practice acumen from the time you started to now, what have you learned as far as not necessarily just X's and O's and this play works and this play doesn't work and I need to set this screen quicker and those types of things, but just as far as having a routine, what have you learned that has, and maybe this could be academics as well, but what have you learned kind of in your time at Liberty?
Like, I would give a shout out to Maya, and because she's just been like, when I redshirted the year that I first came to Liberty, and she was a senior, and she just pushed us harder in practice, and she like made me more physical, and just like her playing style and stuff, she just taught me a lot. And even Bella too, like playing against her, she's like a little taller than me, but she has a different playing style too, and she's more of a shooter and stuff. So she just helps me more on defense too. So both of them has helped me a lot, like throughout the years.
In football, they talk about the quarterback room or the wide receiver room or the running back room because they literally have a room when they break up into different scout and scout is usually together, but when they break up into team meetings, the running back coach will talk to the running backs, the quarterback coach talk to the quarterback. So they have their own room for it. Well, that's not really the case, but let's pretend like there's a center room. You've got you, Bella, and Caroline. How would you explain the differences in the three of your games?
I would say Bella is more of like she got a soft touch. Like she can just turn around, shoot it, and it'll go in. Like one of the games, she literally all she did was shoot it, and it would go in every time. Like it was great. Like her little jump shot, and she can move well. She can like take it to the rim. I feel like her game expanded over the years too. And I think Caroline's like she's physical. She gets low. She has like strong moves to the basket, and she's just a tough player too. And then I think I'm like physical. I think I'm really physical because a lot of my teammates make fun of my elbows and stuff. Like Coach Gerard will be in practice and be like, "Watch out for Emily's elbows!" whenever like we're doing a drill and stuff. Because I gave Claudia a black eye this year. And I feel bad. Shout out to Claudia, I love you. But and then I busted Goldie's lip twice. But it's just part of the game, so all love at the end of the day. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, you probably take a couple of shots from those guards coming off a screen, so your hips probably get bruised a little bit.
Yeah, they fouled me too, but I deserve it because I hit them, so.
Dish it out. You got to take it a little bit, I guess.
I feel bad for my teammates, but when I'm in the game, I don't feel bad.
What style of player do you enjoy guarding, whether it be on our team in practice, or more likely on the opposition?
I like when we played a lot of the like big girls, like when we played Texas and like Tennessee. I like playing against like taller girls like me and just like being physical with them, because then I can be more physical and they won't call as many fouls for like me pushing them or So I just like playing against like taller players. But then also in practice we've been like guarding the fours sometimes and stuff. Like Coach Green will switch it up. So it's good to like guard faster players to get our feet moving more. I don't know. It's fun to guard everyone.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, sometimes we even guard the threes in practice. Like I'll be guarding Emma Hess, and I'll just like, it's weird because it's a different point of view. Like I'll have to stay locked on her because she's a shooter.
Well, you're a shooter too. You hit that 3-pointer.
Yes, 100% from the three.
That's right. 1 for 1.
Yes.
What was going through your mind when you, because Bella had just hit one not too long before that. So was that kind of like, okay, Bella took a 3, and she hit it.
Yeah.
So now green light for the post to take some threes. Did you feel that way?
Kinda. To be honest, like she was just guarding me at the foul line, and I was like, that's disrespectful. So I just shot it. So, yeah.
Is that one of your favorite memories from college so far?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially because it was against Tennessee too, so it was cool.
That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge.
And we had a lot of fans that game.
Yeah, that was a big crowd.
I think that was our most fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
record crowd. Somewhere around 2,000 folks. That was it was awesome.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think was it the very game before that Bella hit her 3-pointer.
I think so. Yeah.
And the bench
we went crazy
whenever she hit
we went crazy.
And they went crazy when you hit yours too. But a little bit different environment. I think it was a blowout win in the game when Bella hit it, and you were taking it against an SEC team. So props to you for being willing to take that shot and hitting it. So now you're maybe a little hesitant to take another one because you don't want to break that 100%.
If the time comes again and I just am open that much, I'll shoot it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to kind of shift from basketball to more kind of behind the scenes and the personal life and the academic side of things and see how things are going. We'll be back with more of Emily Howard right after this quick timeout here on the Liberty Flames Sports Network. Welcome back into this week's Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show. We're here with Emily Howard. And Emily, we've talked about the on the court. Now let's slide off the court. Remind everybody academically what you're studying and what you want to do when basketball is done.
Okay, I'm taking sport management, and I don't know what I want to do with it yet, but we'll see what God has in store for me. So,
Hey, what was the initial reason that led you to choose sports management? I mean, there's obviously a lot of variety of things that you can do. I mean, you can do anything from being an athletic director to a sports information person, keeping stats, and and there's a ton of stuff in between those two. What drew you to that?
I think because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to be around sports. And like what you were saying, it's so broad, so I have so many choices I can do. And I might minor, I'm trying to pick my minor right now, and I might either minor in psychology or business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't know which one yet, but either one of those.
So, I mean, sports psych is kind of a thing on its own, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, Jordan Hodges actually takes that, and she was telling me she really liked it. So,
and in this day and age, well, I shouldn't say this day and age. All throughout history, what happens inside of here, inside your head, is often more important than what's going on physically with your body. As far as, what would you say, 80-90% of mistakes are mental mistakes in the game of basketball.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you'll slip and fall or you'll fumble the ball, and it had nothing to do with you making a bad decision. It was just your fingers were slippery.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's not being in the right place, not positioning yourself. Footwork is a big deal with you guys down in the post.
Yeah, that's
People
true.
don't realize that, do they? How important it is. I'm jumping topics like crazy, but let me finish that thought real quick. How important is footwork? And you see somebody like Bella that is, she can almost seem like she's in like a ballet or something because the twirls and the spins and those things.
Yeah.
You and Caroline, I think, are a little more like physical. Not that you don't have good post moves, but you're kind of looking for contact in a lot of those cases. You're wanting that contact because that's helping you stabilize as you go to the basket. Bella sometimes is spinning around that contact, and so on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is your footwork in the post?
It's really important, I think, because you don't want to travel either. So you want to make a strong move and like be aggressive, but also know where the defender is. So I would probably say like 8 or 9.
Yeah, really important.
Yeah, up there.
I apologize. I completely got off track there. We were talking about sports psychology, and somehow it made me think of footwork in the post. But and a few games ago, you guys were wearing the green shoelaces for mental health awareness. That kind of goes hand in hand with the sports psychology as well. You've got trainers that are going to help you when you get hurt. You've got coaches that are going to help you understand plays and how the game works. But to have someone that's there to support you as far as your mental health, you got tutors that are going to help you with academics, but sometimes that's not really what's the day-to-day. The day-to-day is some of those struggles that not just college students have, but we all have. Is that something that would, appeal to you a little bit as far as the psychology side of things, helping people in the future with that?
Yeah, like maybe like some like counseling or like for athletes or something, just to stay with the sports.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm interested in a lot of things, so it's hard.
And you get a little time to sort it out.
Yes.
We've talked about your family, and I think the one thing that I don't know that we talked about in depth was how you got from Vancouver, British Columbia, right?
Yes.
Check me on my Canadian geography.
Yeah,
British Columbia, and to Memphis, Tennessee, and you finished up your high school ball in Memphis. How did that happen?
That's a long story. To be honest, I would say my parents sacrificed a lot for us to get a better opportunity just for like education, because we went to a private school in Memphis and the sports was a lot better, like for basketball, and like some of my siblings, actually we all did track too, and Alicia and I played volleyball, so it was a great opportunity just to be involved in that and then also go to a Christian school. And I think it's just my parents sacrificed a lot, and God gave us the opportunity just to move there and be somewhere else. So
what time frame was that?
I think like 2017 we moved. We moved my freshman year, like going into my freshman year of high school, and then we stayed till my senior year.
How different was competition for you and your siblings there compared to when you were in Canada?
It was definitely a lot like more aggressive, and it was harder in the States, definitely.
Was there any time more competitive? Yeah. Was there any like adjustment to culture? I mean, there's not a huge difference between Canadian and American culture, but there probably a little bit.
I would say moving to Memphis was a culture shock, because like in Canada compared to like the Memphis, like just their accents were really strong. Like they were like all of my friends and like my parents' friends were like, why do you guys always say you guys, like say y'all and stuff? They would always like say that. And like I remember I joined this AAU team, and like my coach, he had this strong accent, and I could not understand him, and I just kept like, I was like, what'd you say and stuff. Like I felt bad because he kept repeating himself, but I just didn't understand.
That's funny.
But I got used to it, and yeah, some of our teammates still make fun of some of my words. They're like, the Canadian comes out of you and stuff.
Does the Memphis ever come out of you?
Yeah, actually, I was on the airport. Like, I was on the airplane in the airport, and one of the flight attendants was like, where are you from? And I was flying out of Vancouver. And then I was like, oh, from Vancouver. And he was like, no, like, where's the accent from? So, like, when I'm in Canada, they think I'm from somewhere else. And when I'm, like, here, they think I'm from somewhere else. So it's like kind of in two worlds, I guess.
That's
The
funny.
accent comes out in both.
You get a little bit of a southern accent. I've not really noticed that, but now I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to see if I can find a southern word, because I'm the same way. I grew up in East Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
And got there probably about 6th grade and was there through high school. When I came to Liberty, people, it was almost like they would come up and go, talk for me a little bit. And so they would make fun or tease me about certain things that I would say. And I didn't realize that I had an accent, because when I was in Tennessee, everybody else's accent was way thicker than mine.
They have some strong accents down there.
So I was kind of a hybrid. I was like, okay, I was born in Virginia, moved to Tennessee. The Virginia accent wasn't nearly as thick as the Tennessee people, so I picked up a lot of some of their stuff. And then I moved back to go to school in Virginia, and I was probably, if you go full Tennessee, I wasn't full. I was probably 40%. But in Virginia, it sounded like I was something. You're not from here, so
like,
talk
where are
for
you
us.
from?
Right.
Yeah.
My sister picked up even more, because she was I think, how old she had been. She would have been like a kid, like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years old when we moved to Tennessee. I think all of her school, she started kindergarten there.
Oh, yeah.
So much more influenceable when you're that young. So she had a much thicker accent. Now, we've both been here in Virginia since college, and I don't think, if you talk to us, you probably wouldn't notice it much, but then every once in a while there's a word where it pops out. I've noticed it talking to her. I've even noticed it myself. I'll go back and listen to some of these interviews, and I go, that was a country word there.
That's wow, I really said that?
That one kind of came out like I was still in Tennessee or maybe Alabama or someplace, but it's cool. It's kind of cool. And I feel like when you're around somebody that has a specific accent, you start talking just the least little bit like them. Have you ever been around somebody from New York or New Jersey, and all of a sudden you saying your words just a little bit more like they are, something like that?
That's true. People really influence you.
Yeah. And for me, Canadians, because I've got a friend who was from Maine but lived a lot of time in Canada, and I would find myself saying things a little bit like him and his Canadian accent when I was around him for a day or two, or even a few hours. Go to dinner, and by the end you're saying things. If you're around somebody with a Spanish accent, you start saying just a little bit more like that they do. So, and not intentionally, it just kind of your brain sort of works that way. Okay, there's a few very Canadian things about.
Oh yeah, they make fun of me on that.
So you say that.
Yeah.
Can you say it? I hate to embarrass.
You have to catch me on the sentence.
Okay.
I feel like, because I don't know. Like, people will be like, they'll like ask me to say it, and then I'll say it like correct, I guess, like their way. But then like in the sentence, they'll like be like, you just said this. They always do that to me.
Route and route. I think that's kind of an American Canadian thing. There's probably 10 other things that I can think of. Yeah. But I'm not thinking of them right now. But okay, so that's cool. Everybody has kind of fun with that. But so now you made your way to Memphis, and you're embracing American culture. But Memphis culture, like you said, is not just average run of the mill American culture, because there's a lot of musical influence in the Memphis area. Elvis, big time. Food, barbecue is huge there. So there's some kind of cool things about Memphis that now you're. Is it what's a Memphis person?
Memphian.
Memphian?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a Memphian now.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to say. That's pretty good. That's a rough one. Memphian. Yeah, Memphonian. I don't know where I was going. So could you, if someone came to Memphis, could you give them the full tour and tell them, okay, this is what happened here? And
I feel like I could.
Have you become an Elvis fan because of that?
Not really, no, to be honest.
Not really. Who do you listen to? Who's your musical taste?
I listen to a lot of worship music and like gospel music and some rap occasionally, but I'll switch it up.
Well, there's not too far from Memphis is kind of the Christian music hotbed. If you just go a little bit to the east to Nashville, Franklin, Tennessee, in that area, there's a ton of Christian artists that are not too far from Memphis. Yeah, but it is fascinating, that whole part of the country, Memphis, Nashville, and then even Muscle Shoals, Alabama. There's like a triangle there where there's so much music was recorded, and still is. But definitely, if you go back in the day, you got Tina Turner and Rod Stewart and Creedence Clearwater. I'm saying bands that you've probably never heard of before, maybe barely. But a lot of, and the band Alabama was actually in that area too, because more of a country. You ever listen to any country music?
Emma put me on a little bit to country music because she would always play it. But in Memphis, I listen to a little more country, but I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Gotcha. I think
I can listen to like 2 songs and then I have to switch it up.
I'm kind of with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you. All right. Well, we've got time for one last question, and I'm going to leave this open ended because there's got to be something when you came in today that you had in your head of, I hope he asks this, or it would be cool if we talked about this. Something about you or your family or your background or your upbringing. Something that you go, people would like. I think people would enjoy knowing about this.
That's hard. I don't know. Because I just remember last time we were talking about like hockey and stuff and how my like family grew up. Like my dad grew up playing street hockey and it was just like ice hockey. And like I knew we were going to talk about Canada for sure. But yeah, I don't know what they would want to know about me.
Did you got any hidden talents?
I don't know.
Even embarrassing? Like something that if the family's sitting around at Christmas time and everybody's just goofing off, are you singing a song? Are you...
Oh, yeah, I always do random things.
Telling jokes? Like,
yeah.
Just...
One thing about me, I'm like, I'll just do random things and I laugh at everything, so... Yep.
I imagine that you get stereotyped when you're from Canada of, you love the cold and you're going to do
every
fine.
Time.
You know, why are you complaining if it's warm? But would you consider yourself, would you rather be like a beach bum? Would you rather be...
Most definitely. Literally, like when we were in Miami, like this past weekend, like it was so nice and like the weather was so much better. And then when we got off the plane, literally, it was -8 in Celsius. And it was crazy because I literally ran off the plane into the building, and everyone's like, "You're from Canada, why are you running?" and stuff. I'm like, it doesn't mean I like it.
Right, exactly.
But, yeah.
Yeah, you can be used to it, but it doesn't necessarily mean you enjoy it. You know?
Yeah,
that's true.
For sure.
Okay, one last quick thing then, because I mentioned Christmas, and so what are there any Canadian... It doesn't have to be Christmas. Could be Thanksgiving. Okay. Thanksgiving's different in Canada too.
Yeah, it's like a month earlier.
It's just a different time frame. What are some traditions? Something that's different? Because now that you lived in Memphis, you've been here. You kind of see what Americans do for the holidays or for specific things. What are some things that are different in Canada?
I would say it's like the same, to be honest.
Same food, same traditions.
I would say it's very similar. Compared to like, because some countries don't have like Thanksgiving and stuff. Like I think in Iceland they didn't have Thanksgiving, or even the Netherlands. I think Pina was talking about she never had Thanksgiving until she came here. But I feel like Canada is pretty similar because we're right next to each other. So,
hey, one more excuse to have a big meal and bring out some turkey and stuffing.
Yes.
You know, we should have 2 Thanksgivings. We should have one in April and one in November.
I agree.
We'll celebrate Canada's Thanksgiving next year. Let us know when it is.
Do
both. One extra time of getting to stuff ourselves. I'm all for it. I vote for that.
And be thankful for everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Extra time of having pecan pie and cranberry sauce and the whole thing.
They actually made a great meal in our hotel this year for us.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was so nice.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes you don't get to... Christmas, usually everybody's with their family, but Thanksgiving, it's usually on a game trip on the road somewhere, and so, you kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
But
they did us well this year.
They sure did.
Yeah.
They sure did. Well, Emily, it was great talking to you, and congratulations on that career high in
Thank
the
you.
Sam Houston game. And let's hope for you just keep adding to it. Maybe the next game get 16, then get 18.
Yes,
And
sir. That's the goal.
you'll eventually be to Emma's 30. You know, you'll be
Yeah.
able to hit. You'll be able to break her record. But
Hopefully one day.
well, it was great talking, and wish you the best rest of the season.
Yes, thank you, Jamie.